G'day boys and girl.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
Today we're continuing our quest through the expansive fuckery that is Warhammer 40K. I was so full steam ahead with talking about different aspects of 40K lore that I didn't stop and go back to the beginning. I didn't explain 40K as an Australian, and for that I am sorry, as I know you guys love that style of video. Well, here we are. As an abortion doctor always says, better late than never. I'll be going through and covering the entirety of Warhammer 40k lore, which will have some 30k aspects in it as well, since I'm feeling a bit spicy today. Before I do that, I have some exciting news. Socks! Fuck yes, MajorKill has his own merch now, and it's not that basic bitch hoodie shit that no one gives a fuck about. It's some slick as socks. Now, the socks come in two types. You've got the standard MajorKill merch design, but then you have my personal favourite, the sock that has me stabbing Arch Warhammer's head while it's, fucking dead, while I'm covering my appendix because there's a wound. It's basically a colorized version of exactly what happened when Arch stole my appendix, that little cunt. Socks were designed by a talented fellow called CK Creative, so if you guys want to get some art or logos created, then make sure you hit up him on Instagram or email. But yeah, basically, if I sell, or we sell together, 100 pairs of socks, I will then come out with the hoodies and the gay shit like that, and they'll just have more memes on them. It'll be fun, so get ready for that. Anyway, you may be thinking, hold your fucking horses, MajorKill. The 40k lore and universe is extremely expansive, with the lore spanning dozens of books and other mediums. There is absolutely no way you can cover it all in one short video. Well, Timmy, fucking watch me. I'm not Arch Warhammer. I don't blabber around about shit that doesn't matter and make every video unwatchably long. Are we ready? I'm ready. Let's get into it. The Warhammer 40k universe is set in a modified version of ours. At the beginning of time there was no Chaos or God Emperor of Man, they were still a fair while off. When the Big Bang occurred, it spawned a race of Star Jews called the Catan, who just floated around and stole people's shit, and were just cunts to be honest. Shortly after the Catan came, the Old Ones, who were these super smart toady boys that floated around the universe and terraformed worlds, were created, and they also created dozens of other races. These guys were genuinely good blokes and had the dopest technology around, on top of the fact that they had literally no competition, and they lived forever, making them masters of the universe. Until, well, the Necrontyr appeared, who were basically the Necrons before they became evil robots. The Necrontyr evolved on a really shitty planet that had no real protection from their own sun. This, combined with the fact that the Necrontyr didn't know what sunscreen was, meant that all the Necrontyr people had the worst imaginable sunburns. Sounds kinda like Australia, to be honest. They were literally walking melanomas, which is impressive considering they were still able to explore the stars and conquer other worlds, despite having a really short as fuck lifespan, and being nearly dead like 24/7. Eventually the cancer cunts bumped into the Old Ones and saw that the Old Ones could live forever and also applied sunscreen. This caused the Necrontyr to get jealous of the Old Ones and eventually declare war. This was a fucking shit idea by the Necrontyr, as you have a race of cancer-fucked retards versus immortal toad gods. Like, this fight is about as even as Shaggy versus Yamcha. The Old Ones completely anal raped the Necrontyr and exiled them to the outer planets, where they continue to be sad and just get cancer. This was until they found the Catan and struck a deal with the Star Jews. The Necrontyr would gain advanced weapons as well as immortality, and the Catan would, just get to sip on their souls a little bit. Not a bad trade, I'd say. No, it was a very bad trade, as the entire Necrontyr race just became a bunch of identical robot slaves, while the Catan ate their flesh and their souls. Only a few high-ranking Necrons were able to maintain their individuality. This is how they went from the Necrontyr to just the Necrons. They basically just got turned into a bunch of Chinese people, to be honest. The new Necron army rose alongside their uber-powered star gods, and once again waged war against the Old Ones, and started winning the war. The Old Ones and their little friends they created, such as the Eldar and the Orcs, were unable to defeat the Necrons, despite their best efforts. A quick note, the Eldar had been designed to be very psychic and have a good connection to the warp, so by this point, the Eldar gods had indeed been created. During this war, called the War of Heaven, the Eldar gods actually got pretty involved, like Vol created the Blackstone fortresses and used them to kill some of the Catan. Anyway, despite all this, the Old One bros lost and became cattle for this Catan to eat. Everything was pretty fucked, and to make matters worse, the Immaterium / the Warp had been heavily corrupted by the war and the Old One's manipulation of the Warp. Hence, the realms of chaos began to take form and attack the universe as well. So between the Necrons, Catan and Chaos, the Old Ones finally vanished. It is unknown if they are extinct or not, but they've definitely fucked off, so they can't help anymore. The C'tan slowly became bored of being the uber gods of everything, and because they were arrogant cunts, eventually started turning on each other. The elder gods of trickery and mischief was able to manipulate some of the C'tan to start a civil war. The C'tan then ate out each other's assholes until there's only a few left, at which point the Necrons decided to have their revenge against their Jewish overlords. Using their super weapons, the Necrons blew the C'tan into small fragments and then hid the fragments, wiping out the C'tan. However, this did not come without a price, and their Necron empire was severely weakened. The Eldar, on the other hand, had re-emerged from the wars and destruction as the dominant race in the galaxy, far more dominant than the Necrons. Seeing this, the Necron king was like, okay, we did well, but it's time for a timeout. Everyone go to bed for 60 million years, and then we can come back and fuck shit up. Hence the Necrons went Betty Buys, leaving the Eldar to conquer the galaxy. The Eldar did a pretty good job, almost too good of a job, as their wars and labour was easily completed by their technology without their own input. The Eldar begun to get bored. However, before we talk about that fuckery, mankind was on the rise. Mankind was not aware of what was out there in the galaxy, nor what had happened. They developed basic space travel and colonised the surrounding worlds. A few hundred years later, humanity finally cracked warp travel, which allowed them to rapidly expand their civilization throughout the universe. They invented advanced robots that did all their shit for them. However, someone must have put a comma in the wrong spot of the robot's code, because their robots suddenly attacked their human overlords and a massive civil war happened. Humanity won, but it sucked dick and a lot of people died. Anywho, the war against the robots was the least of humanity's problems, as the Eldar were getting even more bored. Now, when I get bored, I make a YouTube video, or play video games, or eat some dinner, or fuck someone. When the Eldar get bored, they apparently become a race of murder rapists. I'm not kidding, about 90% of the Eldar race suddenly started murder raping each other. Millions died as hundreds of their worlds became one big blood orgy. When this sadistic Eldar died, their souls began to clump up in the warp in a big ball of super entityness. Some of the Eldar were like, guys, what the fuck are you doing, you disgusting cunts, and left. These Eldar who fled became either the Exodites, who were Eldar who fled to distant planets and became useless hippies, and then there was the Craft World Eldar, who were like the normal Eldar, that flew away on gigantic ships. Many Eldar foresaw a massive disaster from all this murder raping and tried to save as many of their kind as they could before one day the massive clump of corrupted Eldar souls gained sentience and became the Chaos God Slaanesh. The birth of Slaanesh instantly killed billions of Eldar and created the Eye of Terror, while also destabilizing the shit out of the galaxy. Nice work, Eldar youths. Although humanity wasn't aware of the Eldar rape fest, they certainly felt it. The birth of Slaanesh flooded the human systems with warp storms and cut them all off from each other, devolving their societies and making them all cunts. To make matters even worse, a number of humans were born with psychic abilities. Some planets hunted these people as witches, while other planets took them in and praised them and lifted them up. Unfortunately for the nice planets that were considered progressive, that treated their psyches well, the psyches started becoming possessed by demons and went on rampages which destroyed multiple worlds. So, like, the planets that were non-progressive, devolved, purging psycho planets actually did way better than the progressive planets that accepted the psychic people. So yeah, the Eldar got raped, humanity got raped, there's a lot of raping happening right now, so luckily this is the part of the story that gets everyone's dick wet. The emergence of the God Emperor of Mankind, the Big E, Mr. Xeno Destroyer, Chaos Fister, and the only devout atheist I know that became a symbol of religion. You may be wondering how this uber god warrior just popped up out of nowhere. Well, what basically happened is that on Earth there was a bunch of shamans that had the power to reincarnate, which is pretty nifty. Anyways, with the warp getting more and more corrupted by the Eldar doing gay shit, less and less shamans were being reborn as their spirits were getting captured and molested in the warp. So they all decided to do a mass suicide, which would allow their spirits to merge into one and overcome the creatures of the warp. Hence, the shamans reincarnated into one body, the Emperor of Mankind. For centuries, he watched without interfering much in mankind, but when he saw everything go to shit, he was like, fuck this, I'm gonna sort this shit out. So he quickly conquered all of Earth and aligned himself with Mars to begin the Imperium of Man. The Emperor then went on to create his Speos Marine super soldiers, along with the Primarch super duper soldiers. At this point, the gods of chaos had noticed the Big E and were like, guys, this guy is going to fucking rape us, what do we do? So they decided to kidnap his Primarch children and scatter them across the universe. The Big E then went on a massive crusade / rampage across the galaxy as he fucked shit up left, right and center, forcing hundreds of worlds to join the Imperium, thousands of worlds. During these crusades, the Emperor was united with his Primarch sons, one by one. The first son he found was Horus. Horus quickly became his favourite son, even when they found the other Primarchs. I don't know if having favourites is healthy, but the Emperor made it pretty obvious that Horus was his favourite. Anywho, after years of skull-fucking heretics and expanding the Imperium, the Emperor wanted to take the next step to universal domination. He wanted to allow mankind to access the Elder Webway, which would give them a massive advantage in communication and travel within the galaxy. As such, the Emperor returned to Earth in secret for this task, and left Horus to continue purging some bitches. Eventually, due to reasons that are a bit confusing, Horus joined Chaos and hated the Emperor. Honestly, this part of the plot confuses me, like yeah sure, Horus got stabbed and Chaos offered to save his life if he joined them, but how the fuck does Horus go from being in love with his father and his father's favourite son and being 100% loyal to the arch enemy of the Imperium? It's just not very good at character development there. Anywho, the Horus Heresy had begun. In simple terms, the Horus Heresy was when roughly half the Imperium's armies joined Horus and became chaos worshipping sluts, and the other half remained loyal to the Emperor. So began a 7-year civil war as brothers fought brother, father fought sons, and the Big E fought Horus. The Big E didn't want to kill his favourite son and try to reason with him, however it didn't go so well as Horus kicked the shit out of his daddy. Eventually the Big E was like, I've had it, fuck this shit, and not only killed Horus, but was able to completely destroy his soul so he could never return. However, his earlier hesitation meant that Horus was able to fatally wound the Big E. After a bit of chitter-chatter, the Big E jumped into his golden life support throne and continued to aid the Imperium with his still incredible psychic powers. Hence, the Horus Heresy ended with a fat chunk of the Primarchs dying and many more vanishing. Not too fun of a time for anyone involved really. And this covers most of the significant events that occurred in Warhammer 40k. There's a few other details such as the invasion of the parasitic Tyranids or some uppity orcs trying to wreck the galaxy, but this covers everything you need to know if you want to get familiar with 40k. In recent times, the new War Master of Chaos, Abaddon the Despoiler, has been trying to cause problems for the Imperium by launching his aptly named Black Crusades. However, he's had about 13 of them and so far, he's been anal raped pretty hard every time. So I'd say that Abaddon is a massive shit cunt and that Chaos would have more luck with Angron or literally anyone else in charge. The Imperium post-Horus Heresy has regressed significantly as 100% of their budget goes towards war. This means there's been no real technological advancements in a long time, to a point where the Imperium is actually losing its technology, it's literally forgotten how to build a lot of its shit, so there are thousands of Imperium ships that are irreplaceable, so when they get destroyed, that's it, they're gone. The Emperor's atheist teachings have also been corrupted, as now the High Lords of the Imperium use superstition and religion in order to maintain and grow their power. Needless to say, if the Emperor saw what the fuck was happening with the Imperium, he would be super pissed. The storyline of 40k is soon going to hit a climax, as the Emperor's life support is failing, the Elder are in the process of awakening the God of Death who is destined to murder fuck Slaanesh, the Orcs are uniting under the prophet of their gods, and the Necrons have awoken from their 60 million year sleep. And the Eye of Terror is expanding, so something cool has to happen soon. I would personally love a gigantic and multi-faction battle similar to the End Times but done right. Things such as reuniting the Shards of Cain to bring Cain back and the return of the Emperor, a team up with the Tau, the Orcs kicking some Chaos ass, heck, even throw some Tyranids in the big battle. I just want to see a lot of cunts die very quickly, including Abaddon because he's a little bitch. And that's it guys, that is everything, we are up to date. This is a super concise Aussie summary of Warhammer 40k that doesn't take about 100 fucking hours to watch, unlike pretty much every other Warhammer YouTuber out there. My stance is that, as gay little nerds, our time is very important, so we can't spend hours watching one lore video when we should actually be spending hours watching multiple lore videos, preferably by MajorKill. I'm working with an artist for the next 40k video coming after this one, and I know you guys will absolutely love it. It has lots of titties in it. The funds for the art come directly from the Patreon I've set up for the channel. It's designed so that I can provide you guys and the community with original Warhammer content and art, while also not going already broker than I am. Even just $1 donation goes a really long way. If you guys want me to go into detail about any of the above time frames, such as the Age of Strife or the War of Heaven, then spam it in the comments below, and I might just make it. Until then guys, slap that subscribe button, spank that bell, aka the real subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.